Allow me to ask you this question. Where do you believe the United States' strongest earthquake took place? The West Coast, maybe California, Washington? Those are my initial thoughts as well. However, those are incorrect. The one earthquake that stands above all others is the Good Friday earthquake of 1964. And now, before I reveal the location, let's take a look at this map here to determine the frequency of earthquakes that take place around the United States. Now you see the West Coast is very dark red, dark yellow, and dark orange, all representations of high frequency of earthquakes. So our initial guess of the West Coast was a pretty well educated guess. However, there is one other place that has just as much activity, and that's Alaska. If you look in the bottom left corner there, you see Alaska. It's covered in dark yellows, oranges, and those dark red colors that signify a high frequency of earthquakes. And this is where our mega earthquake took place. This is where devastation occurred. Now, the earthquake that occurred in Alaska took place at that red star and the Prince William Sound region. That red star is the epicenter of our earthquake, and it was the epicenter of the 9.2 mega earthquake. That's crazy. The largest earthquake in the world in recorded history was a 9.5 in Chile, so that just puts in perspective how strong this earthquake really was. Now you might be wondering what caused this, or why did this happen? It's a result of plate tectonics, and what happened was the Pacific plate, designated by that red circle, lurched forward in a northward direction toward the blue circle, which designates the North American plate. Now when it lurched forward, it went underneath the continental plate, and that is what caused this earthquake. Now this is another diagram of Alaska that shows the frequency of earthquakes that take place across the state. Now you can see all these little white circles are all signify earthquakes. And you can see that's very, very high frequency in earthquakes, just like the west coast of the United States. Now these next couple images are all images of damage caused by the mega earthquake. Now as you can see here in this picture, a bridge has been completely broken off of its concrete structure and fallen into a river. This is just one example of the strength of the earthquake. This 9.2 earthquake was strong enough just to rip it down and collapse it all. Now, in total, this earthquake caused $2.3 billion in property damage across Alaska. That's an insane amount. As you see here, this street was devastated. It's completely uplifted, as you see at the back toward the top right corner. That is the actual street level. And this picture here where this man has been completely downshifted a couple meters, and that's insane. However, along with this property damage, there was 131 casualties recorded from this earthquake, and that's a relatively low number, to be honest with you. And most of the casualties were a result of these tsunamis that occurred afterwards. Many earthquakes, if they're strong enough, result in tsunamis that race across the ocean and devastate coastal communities. As you see here, these red rings represent the number of hours it would take for a tsunami to transfer across the ocean. Now, the tsunamis did most of the casualties. They caused for over 100 of the 131 casualties across the board. And that really is an example of how strong these earthquakes are, that they could cause something to race across thousands and thousands of miles, down to even Japan, Hawaii, and the west coast of the United States. So it's important to remember that these earthquakes are nothing to be taken lightly, and our continued investigation of seismic activity and plate tectonics play a key role in managing these earthquakes and being able to predict them. While we might not be able to predict them exactly, even a few minutes can mean the difference between life and death, and it's important that we maintain our scientific exploration of these devastating natural disasters.